yesterday, like half of yesterday, a day before, you might have got a completely blank website and like a blank white page at exploratoryminds.com. It's fixed now. Should be able to get exploratoryminds.com and it'll present a login page as normal. If you don't have an account and you're just interested in seeing the main blog, you can, as normal, click one of the scrolling titles on that you'll see there on the front page. If it's still white and blank for you, that'll be your browser cache. Clear that and you'll be able to log in, like I said, as normal. This has been quite a lesson for me personally. Is certain settings on the server, how they treat files, like priority settings and ownership of files. It was to do with things like that. This is why it was so confusing. Like, the server has settings for particular files, so I restored the content of the server, but not restored how the settings were prior to a particular change that caused the settings to change anyway. Kind of convoluted, really. It sounds complicated. In some ways it is, otherwise very simple. But this is why I was restoring the website to an earlier date where I knew it was fully working. But it didn't work because of those settings, right? This all happened basically after installing the application for video calling. I'm not going to use it at all until it's absolutely 100% finished, legit, and usable, and if it works for us, that would be a great addition. It's not crucial to have, but it might be nice if it does work with the current setup that we got. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. Something else I would like to mention, though, just a thought occurred to me. It's like collaborating with this company, SoftLab24, who supplied the software originally for the social pages, and it's open source. We can change anything we like. That's both powerful and the Achilles heel, because we can change anything we like. We can fuck things up as well. But there are no mistakes. My worldview is like there's no such thing as making a mistake and not learning from it if you are willing to use that mistake as a lesson. There are no lessons without mistakes. So this is our own platform here. We do what we want with it, but we don't own the server. We pay for the server, so it's a happy medium. It's a compromise. If I had my way, I would. If I had the money of it, I'd set up a really super powerful connection and run it off of my own servers from home. That'd be the ultimate, right? And get pay a technical guy to do things, but nobody gets paid here from me. Jerry and Lisa are friends that help out. There is no money being made by the website, although I do want to monetize some aspects here. There's some enlightenment self-interest everywhere, right? And I've talked before about the passion and philosophy behind Exploratory Minds. Certainly it's nothing like an approach like the owners of Facebook would have. Mark Zuckerberg thinks having a platform for all ideas is somehow beneficial, yet you end up with being the very thing you set out to resist anyway. When you end up restricting people, you can't say particular words because it's assumed by the AI that trolls do this though. They take words out of context and put it into a context that's offensive, and then point at the people who use those words and say, "Oh, you offended me because you said these words." Snowflakes, right? And you see that addiction to social networks has been a big lesson, that it's an erroneous approach. Those individuals that are addicted to taking pictures of themselves over and over and over and over to infinity because they got low self-esteem and they want the dopamine hit of people coming along and say, "Hey, you look great today." Don't get me wrong, I'm prone to a selfie here and there, but I'm not obsessive. There's my avatar used to be me posing with my Korg X3. It's a synthesizer, and that was a selfie, right? This is a compounding effect. Yeah, there are profiles on Facebook with people with thousands of photos, and every single photo is of themselves. I'm not kidding. Every single one. They took the term Facebook literal. And why don't you take photos of events you're at? And these sort of people think, well, we do. I was at such and such when I took this photo of me. Taking a photo of yourself. The universe does not revolve around you. It's mind blowing, and when people see these photos, they're often used in they're touched up. In some cases, to make it look better. They're in the best kind of lighting to make it look better. They're the best side. Everyone has a better side, I think. The best pose. Which is a compounding effect with people with low self-esteem will look at all these photos and go, how is it all these people have got such great lives? What's wrong with me? The thing is, you got it entirely wrong. Compared to them, you got a great life because you're not that self-important. Unless you're doing the same thing, photo after photo after photo, searching your own photos for those comments. Who looks at those photos more? The people commenting on them or the person putting up the photo? It's the person putting up the photo, by the way, I think. Sifting through the photos, getting ready to retweet one that they think is the best one of them. If you're on Twitter, or repost, or if you're on Facebook. How about platforms that train people to get attention because there's an emphasis of the merits of their ideas, not ideas in general, but if there's any merits of your ideas, that can be used for a practical application for progress for other people, learning different things. Great, that's what we look for in the post. I mentioned this before. That's how Exploratory Minds works. And that above me, site members, there hasn't been any new site members for a while, but we have our little bubble, our handful of interlocutors and communications. I've got to change that to recent activity. Or recent, maybe I should call it recent post, I don't know, something relating to recent activity, and there'll be things scrolling in there, right? This way, immediately, you get recognition, and I'll put names in there. I'll think of something how to do it. And thank you, Astro Sweat and Lardo444. Did I say that right? Lardo444. 3 4s and that. Great cook, by the way. Check out his YouTube channel. For recent interaction on the main blog. And you said, oh, it has to be military about the drones. It did later come out that it was a military program, but they couldn't say anything due to national security reasons. But there's still hush hush on what it was for, which is fine. I just thought it was interesting to write about. And I thought, while I was writing it, I was, yeah, it's probably military, but I wrote just in case it was something else and some other reasoning. But yeah, it just seemed logical that it was military, the mysterious drones report. But again, these are the things I write about. I don't write about a subject per se. I would take the most interesting aspects of a subject. Everyone knows drones exist, and you can buy one, you can fly it, you can take photos and all that. But when you see these drones and the story behind it, that's like an extrapolation of the subject of drones in a much more interesting way. Because things can be far more tantalizing than people realize. Take the moon, for instance. I wrote about the moon. And it's a bit weird, the moon. By conventional models and what we expect our moon to be. Doesn't mean there isn't a mundane explanation for it, but currently it is kind of odd and interesting. So I wrote about it. And, it's near circular orbit is unusual. It's there's many things. It's certainly got materials that don't equate to the same as Earth. And, Earth has most of the iron, the moon hardly any, yet there's a different type of iron on the moon that doesn't rust. Literally rust-proof iron. Very unusual, right? And there's water been found, a number of things, here and there, things didn't quite expect. It vibrates, mostly kind of like a resonance once it's hit. There's moonquakes, and you get exactly same kind of frequency vibration on one area of the moon as you do somewhere else, which is very unusual if you look at you think about the physics of how things operate. Being exactly the same, so there's a resonance effect here. If you've got two tuning forks, you prang one by it will pick up the vibration of that and vibrate in sync. They think it might be something like that happening, which means there would be cavernous areas of the moon, almost like it's very hollow, but not entirely, but very, very cavernous. Oh, maybe it's like honeycombed, inside. That'd be fascinating. Sound travels better, faster through water. What if there's a liquid inner area? It could be. They think the core is very unusual for the vibrations to continue for about an hour. Actually, the seismic equipment picked up vibrations after they deliberately, I think, what was it, like afterburners or something, they let that hit the moon. Seismic equipment picked up the vibration that hit. It was quite a long time for it to vibrate. One vibration was more like a gong. When you hit a gong, it starts off quiet and then gets louder and louder and then finishes off. Right? So that's interesting. Because normally, most people think, oh, the moon, it's some dead rock in the sky, right? There's moonquakes, there's gaseous ejections, there's vibrations that last hours, there's a number of anomalies here by the conventional, only anomalies if you compare it to the conventional model of how the moon, how they think the moon came to be. And that's okay. It's okay to be having a model that doesn't quite fit what's really there, because there's no No one's actually saying this is proven how the moon came to be. It just seemed more likely, but they discovered all these things that, have to rethink what it might be. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being wrong either. It's spawned on many multiple theories of the origins of the moon. Some are saying it's artificial. I mean, when that sounds like a nutty conspiracy theory on its own, until you look at the data and it just gives a possibility. Doesn't mean it's true. It's a possibility. So, again, I like to remind people, Exploring Minds encourages people who are willing to write stuff that isn't confirmation bias, like idiots running around claiming the pandemic is somehow a hoax. You don't know that, and it's dangerous to put out that information if people are dying because of it. And it is not the same as a regular flu, how people are dying, and it is not without its serious damages after, even if you survive this, with some people. Because it does cause blood clotting, that's proven. Look at the data, look at the doctors. And there's a lot of people out there, they want it to be a conspiracy. They want to believe fantasy over reality because it is scary. But if you do that, you're part of a problem of mitigating progress. If I was offered vaccine or some, I've talked about vitamin D before. It's more vitamin D. You never get it. If I was told that, or you could have the vaccine, I'd just go for the vaccine, thanks, and continue taking vitamin D every day. I certainly do that. Anyway, more so now. I used to do it anyway, but there'd be some times when I miss it. Not take it. I take it every day now because the science is backed behind it, and I've done my own sort of analysis. This does help me get through the winter months a lot better. Mental focus with them, indeed. There's reasons for that. I mentioned them before. Basic reasons in details. I've mentioned them before. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I'll write about it. 80%, by the way, of people who suffered badly from COVID are vitamin D deficient, according to statistics. 80%. Go figure. I'm not saying it's a cure. I'm saying it's a big player. Because maybe some people's bodies don't process it very well. Vitamin D. It's already a hormone, by the way, vitamin D. Yeah. Regardless of all the ins and outs of the idiocy here, the denial. People behave in a way that is in line with their beliefs, whether it's true about the world or not. So unfortunately, behaviours motivated by the denial are going to propagate the virus rather than mitigate it. Sure, there's vaccine now about to be rolled out. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. There's a long waiting game here. I mean, the UK is like 17 million people anyway, so you think you're going to get a vaccine tomorrow? No, it'll be the oldest people first. Don't go thinking people under 20 haven't died from this, because they have. And sure, it's not as common as those much older. SARS was easier to track down, by the way, because it was quicker, far faster in its side effects, it didn't incubate for 2 weeks. But people will keep blurting out stuff all the time, left, right, and centre, more and more, that they can't back up. They claim to be true. They don't look at actual data. This was the problem when I ran reality explorations. And I did cover some very dodgy subjects, by the way, UFOs and all that. There's big bold claims there about abductions and all kinds of crap. None of them had any proof that it was satisfactory, in my opinion, because it would always go to dead ends. It would always go to a circular thinking. The proof was only backed up by something that they said. Then you look at that and you think, not necessarily proof, but they claim it to be because they skewed their own results and so on when they're working on things, on different theories about things and so on. It's just utterly ridiculous. That was their mindset. Those who were in the UFO community. It's not without its experts, so that can come out with things that seem to be very interesting and get some teeth into. UFO witnesses do what we looked for was the most credible people. And we found a lot of military witnesses here, interestingly. And it was some of those military witnesses, their own conclusions, that these are unknowns. We don't have this type of technology, but they witnessed it anyway. They weren't necessarily saying it's not from Earth, but it was unknown, right? So there will be write-ups about those witnesses again at exploratoryminds.com. What they said, it's not what I've said. We'll just put a take out on what they said their experience was, and just put it out. This is proven from what they said because they said it on camera. And there's YouTube videos on this. We'll put those out. I think serious disclosure is very still. It's a body of work that is clouded with idiots that are getting in the way of clarification of information, but within it is those individuals who were interviewed and they come forward and say, yes, this happened, that happened. A policeman witnessed something and nearly lost his job because games were being played trying to make out that he was crazy, seeing little green men. He never saw any occupants of this unusual craft that he witnessed, but he did witness something. Just because he witnessed something very unusual doesn't mean he's crazy. It was witnessed with him apparently as well. They had other witnesses. What it was, don't know. Where it's from, don't know. Am I going to claim I know? No, because I don't freaking know, right? But there are individuals who want to feel special and claim that they know, because they're addicted to mystery. Addiction to mystery and fantasy is getting in the way of logical, critical analysis of things and just human progress in general. The pandemic has proven that. Some people rather believe it's 5G networks causing this, or they rather believe it's all a hoax. And yet they'll be probably the first to say authorities need us to keep them in work. So, why would they shut down, do these lockdowns then? Crazy, right? if there's corruption within authorities, they want us to act like there's no virus. But that doesn't happen. Wonder why? It's because there is a virus and there is a pandemic. Until you've actually seen someone close to you suffer with this, it doesn't put that one extra notch in your brain that you realise just how important this is. This is a vicious virus for some people, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate here. Some people find they're sick a little bit. Other people, some people, it just totally annihilates them within a short space of time. One person's mother had to go hospital on the Monday, dead by the Thursday. I'm not trying to scaremonger. I'm explaining what is real. Facts do not care about your fantasies and your denial. Wake the fuck up, you know. And I don't know, there needs to be a look at psychology here. I see people who are the first to slate conspiracy theorists actually blurting out conspiracy theories. Yeah, right. So here's a nutty conspiracy for, I don't believe it, but here's one for you. What if some years ago they wanted people to end up buying into conspiracy theory so that they could propagate a virus and deny actual scientific advice anyway? There's one for you. Of course, you know, I don't believe that, but there's one for you. Yeah. It's a lot fucking more logical though than saying 5G causes virus. The 5G frequency isn't even anywhere near that visual light. You know, the visual light that we see is actually more energetic. Then the low microwave, radio to microwave spectrum where 5G sits. And I know what some of these dumbasses thinking. Your microwave cooks food. You got a microwave oven, it cooks food, it burns it. Yeah, that's 800 watts, yeah. Way more power within a more confined space. People just deny what's right in front of them because it's easy. It's comforting to be lazy about things and believe I'd rather believe a conspiracy. I would rather believe that this is a conspiracy than face the facts that this is a shitstorm that is going to really divides logical thinking against people who are just willingly ignorant in certain areas of their life. Yeah, at the same time they can be brilliant at some other things. It's a shame they don't apply their skills to every other aspect. But who does? You know, I'm no genius. I'm dumbass at many things out there, I think. But I try to do the best I can with what I got. Lockdowns will stop when people stop being idiots. Really? How do you think China have mitigated this? They do what the fuck they're told. I'm not trying to tell you that you should change your society to something that's totalitarian and more. But do what you're fucking told during the time that you need to be doing what you're fucking told. That's not difficult. It shouldn't be difficult, but it is very difficult for some people because they are addicted to their pleasures in life so much they're willing to deny factual reality, and because they do, they put people's lives at risk. You can reply in any way you like, but if you're going to deny without any proof to back up your claims, then I'm not really going to be bothered collaborating with you. There's many points of data that you can connect that support that this is a reality of what's going on, not a conspiracy. So we've gone from what's happening with the site to that. Because of the philosophy behind Exploring Minds, we will not support confirmation bias. Flat earthers won't get supported. You can join if you wanted to, if you're a flatty, and you can post what the fuck you want in that arena of information, but we will not be curating your information for the main blog. We will not be giving you shoutouts, and you won't be mentioned in the thingy site members. What should I call it? Site members. Latest member activity. Latest member. Latest collaborators. Latest posters. Something like that. Something that would bring up your name. Maybe a short snippet of what you posted. Yeah, I'll think of something. Peace out, take care, and I'll look forward to doing another video soon. Bye.